to order,
Okay,
7:07.
I'll second it.
Okay, great. Are you, Joe, are you still good to be take notes for this meeting?
Oh, sure. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great, great. The first thing is reviewing the minutes that Joe sent from last time. Do folks want to take a look? Hang on, I just moved away from that page. Any edits on that one?
I move they be approved as distributed.
Yeah,
Dan is
I'll second it.
okay, great.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, those are approved. Okay, any other, let's see, news. We've got a new knee and compost going down. How are people's seasons? They winding down,
Thankfully,
thankfully, yep. Yep.
I was listening to the news the other day, and this was maybe a week or so ago, and they were saying 8 out of the 9 weekends so far it had rained, and it's probably 9 out of the 10 because I think did we have rain this last weekend on?
I heard it was 13 out of 16.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's really tough, especially for farm stands. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
good graces here.
How's your pumpkin business, Steve?
Good, we bought in some nice ones. We lost about everything in the field.
I don't know if he ever got a hold of you. At Alex McQuillan, I suggested give you a call because we normally buy a lot from him, and since we didn't
Okay,
open it
we
here,
bought from Patterson. It seemed to be working out.
yeah.
Oh, good. Wait, how did I miss that? Dan, you guys didn't open this year?
No, we just did the CSA.
Oh,
It
wow.
was just like so bad. And then with my knee, I think
Yeah.
we just decided that we were going to open for the fall thing, and then I was out with my knee, and just decided we just call it a wash, and just today was our last CSA day, so that was
Oh, wow.
good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wait, like there were problems in the spring that made you not open?
Yeah, it's just a terrible growing season.
Mm-hmm.
Just all the way around. Tons of. We got to a late start because we kind of had some problems in the greenhouse, and then our fields are just like either so wet. Every time, like we had, I don't know. You all probably had the same experience where we had like a field full of carrots, and nice carrot 2.5 inches down, and then just mush right underneath that. It was just like, leafy greens did all right, and thanks to Hutchins, we augmented a few things in our CSA to pull it together. So I think it was a pretty good experience overall for the CSA, but just didn't really seem to make much sense to do more than that.
Gotcha.
How have things been with your farm stand?
It was a decent year. We're having trouble at the end here. We're like having some, like this fall, I think we're seeing more of the effects of the rain. Like I reseeded the spinach and it got washed out, I think twice. And so finally the spinach I reseeded the third time is coming on a little bit, but but like overall our farm stand and stuff went fine this year.
How much more of the CSA do you have?
We have just one more week of the main season, and then some people do 4 more weeks after that. So we go till Thanksgiving.
Right.
Do you plan to winter over spinach in the field?
No, I mean, we'll leave it there and occasionally it's still been there in the spring, but we'll seed spinach in the high tunnel this winter for the early spring. We do a whole tunnel of spinach because when it works out, it's really good for early sales. Yeah.
I know as you say, when it works out.
Oh, yes, one time it didn't, but I think it is now. What happened was we covered it and mice ate it all.
Oh, really?
And so now we don't cover it and it's been okay. Yeah. But it's really good when it's like you have a good stand and the mice don't eat it and you have a tunnel full of spinach. Yeah.
We had a number of issues with it, and we make out much better doing chard that way.
In the high
Really?
tunnel.
Yeah.
Interesting. We tried chard, but I think it was leaf miners got to it, which we have that problem in the field too.
Mm.
But do you spray for leaf miners?
Not in the great, no, not generally.
Hmm. Yeah, we just have them really bad, so we didn't get. I liked the idea of chard also because it's higher, like more volume.
Right, it keeps coming too.
Yeah, but it didn't work out. And we do have just like a big market for spinach in particular. People um just can't get enough. Yeah.
How are things at Hutchins, Brian?
Brian, you're muted.
Still muted. You're muted?
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
About that. I've been chatting along and I'm like, nobody wants to engage with me.
It's like you're not even.
Pretending to ignore
I'm
you.
like, okay, I guess I don't have.
Yeah, you have to unzip it.
All right. So let me tell you. No. I'm kidding.
Okay, tell us.
Back to the beginning.
What was it like?
So yeah, I hate spinach. I mean, I love spinach when it does well, but it only does well about 1/6 of the time that we plant it. I almost thought about, like, in the past few years getting it to germinate at the time when you need it
Hmm.
to be seeded, and it was so hot, it just doesn't germinate.
I know.
And so I was like thinking of like doing trays and like transplanting. I didn't do that this year. This year was crazy. But so our spinach this year, our fall spinach, got nailed by beet leaf miner, is what I assume it is. And our beets did as well, which I've never seen, at least not to this degree. I mean, it just destroyed planting, so that's unfortunate. But I mean, we did okay. Certain things did great. Our potatoes did amazingly well, but they were planted at Peter Spring, which is like a sandbox. It's there, the water table's low and the soil's well drained. And the biggest problem we had there was trying to get in there and dig them when it wasn't so wet that the soil was sticking to the potatoes so much that you had a big bin full of soil instead of potatoes, because it makes it difficult to handle them and clean them. But yeah, it was a tricky year. I didn't like it. I'm glad it's over. Although I have no guarantee that next year is going to be any better.
Come on, Brian.
What? It could be.
Yeah, let's have it alternate.
I'm hoping for drought.
Yeah, drought's good.
No, I think so. Like, we have water, we have a river, we have a well. I mean, drought is fine. You just have to work a little harder, but you have so much more control, rather than watching like you say, watching your carrots just like be covered in, water. I mean, we have standing water in fields still right now.
Yeah.
and it's the amount of rain that we got this year did weird thing. I don't know if it did weird things, but it exposed strange things in the you know, whatever the under geography of the land is. Like we have puddles that I've never seen before, and they're still there. And then and other places are dry that's fine, and the river's still fairly high. I mean, it's just really weird. It's almost like, you know, the springs of spring, you know, the snow melt in spring is now. It's just really odd.
How are you doing, Grace?
We're doing good. We're starting to dry out just a little bit. So it's very good. There might be a chance we could even do some winter rye and cover crop where you know, we couldn't get into plants because it was just so wet.
Yeah.
So Brian, over on Peter Spring, that's where you do your potatoes?
That's where we did them this year. We used to do them every year over there. And now because of potato beetle, I mean, we have to move them around, but that they do best over there for sure.
So that's how our land is too for potatoes. But do you find that over on Peter Spring it gets clumpy? Do you know what I mean? When it rains, did you find like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be driving through town. I might lose you guys. So do you find that the potatoes get weird shaped because they can't grow in the dirt because it makes mud? Do you know? I don't know. Do you like it's compressed?
No, I mean, I haven't seen that.
Uh-huh. No, because we've got some areas that it seems like the potato. Have you ever tried to transplant carrots and then it hits the bottom and then
Uh-oh.
We lost you, Grace.
Losing you, sorry.
We can have her pick back up when she
All right, when she gets across town, yeah.
gets across town. Yeah.
When we get the new cell tower in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any news on that, Mary?
Oh God, I was afraid you'd ask me that. We've been they're negotiating, you know, with the Tricon Church, Verizon and Tricon,
Right.
and they've been negotiating for months. And there seem to be some issues that there are 3 issues that they're still far apart on, which is something to do with storage of electric equipment in the basement of the church and some keeping out the competition. Anyway, I'm not an attorney, but Henry Dane, who's the chair of the select board, and he's also an attorney, is now getting involved in that. So we're all hoping that kind of moves this because it's wedged between Tricon and Verizon. And other than that, there might be some other places in town that we would explore. And the town is having something called a listening session. I think that's next week, because there are some people in town that actually don't want cell phone towers, that think they're unhealthy. So the town has to be respectful of that, and we're gonna listen to them. But I think the general feeling is that it's a safety issue, and we need to fix it. So
I'm sure.
When they did the tower, like at Crosby's Corner, there was the whole big deal about the people who were freaked out about it.
Right, but I don't think now that's what's stopping it. What's stopping it is Verizon and whoever steps up. And you know, I really wish I had a clearer way to explain all this, and you know, a more optimistic outlook. But it's really just kind of, you know, they're working on it, and I hope it happens in the next. I'm not even going to say.
Before we're all dead.
I'm sorry. I wish I had better news.
What, I was surprised that the national park has apparently broad-reaching visual control over like the Kai's Road and so on?
Really?
I,
Oh,
I
you mean putting a
understood,
tower there? I see. Yep.
yeah,
I didn't know that. I think the
yeah, I think that would be
characters,
a good site, but it
yeah,
would be visible, of course, and
right.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure whether there's a legal problem doing it with them, or I guess somebody said it'd take 3 years to get approval or something.
maybe. Well, there's a smokestack, I think, at the DPW that we thought might on Losbrook Road. No, over on, no, that's on Kai's Road. Sorry, wrong road. But we're all very frustrated if that, and we're paying attention to it. So I think, we're looking at it, we're asking for feedback, I mean, updates every select board meeting, and I think Henry Dane is getting a lot more involved. So I hope we have a breakthrough. That's the best I can say.
You feel like the pushback is significant, or it's just like a few?
Well, it's people, we have to, we want to listen
I'm an
to them.
organic farmer, so
right?
I understand. Our customers are those people.
And they all have cell phones, I bet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a town and we have to listen to people, and we're going to have a listening session, but I do believe that, I know that the select board is behind, believes that this is a safety issue. And there's economic impacts of not having good cell phone coverage, but I think the safety issue really trumps everything. I hate using that word, but I think that's the main driver here. So I think it's not opposition that's stopping it right now. What's stopping it is the fact that we can't get parties to agree.
Okay. Well, maybe we could come back to the news when Grace returns, just so she could finish her question or thought. But right now, the next thing up is officer elections for chair and clerk, because we were going to elect new people after this ag day.
Why don't we push that off until Eliza gets back?
Well, Liza sent me her notes for the meeting, so I have info. We could wait. She did say that if someone new, like maybe Dan, but we can vote, was interested in being chair, that she would be willing to co-chair with them and help with the paperwork type things if someone wanted to start by like running meetings and doing some of the other work.
So it's like Liza's puppet government.
Yes.
But
Well,
Melissa, do you
she was
want out of
willing,
I think Dan would do a good job.
Being a puppet.
I think Dan would do a great job. Well, the paperwork thing she was offering to was still send out the minutes and the meeting link and things like that.
Yeah.
But we could also just have someone else be chair and then she could just help them.
Oh.
And Melissa, you wanted to do your term to end, or?
Yes, I think my term needs to end. Yeah.
Got your hands full, so to speak.
Yes. I'm frequently going on mute so that this time you don't hear the crying. Yeah, but then he'll get older and I'll be, hopefully there'll be less tears, although I don't know.
Well, at this moment when Liza is away and she can't hear us, it's easier to sing her praises as the leader of this club. It's been very good for her.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that she continues. She certainly, when I send in minutes and stuff, she makes them become good. Anyway.
Yes. She has done it for a long time, so we don't want to like overdo it.
And she's
And
really
sort
from
of
Maynard, so
what?
Huh?
she's really from Maynard, so she doesn't really belong here.
Yeah, yeah, we had wanted Liza on the committee for so long. We finally got her and now she does everything. So we're just looking to have, I think she would still be able to help, but that we should, I also just don't think it's like standard practice to have the same chairs for,
Right.
I haven't heard any big objections from Dan.
Oh, God.
no, I
I
think
mean,
Dan
I
would
would
be
only
great.
do,
He's
I
dedicated.
did the minutes for a while, a couple of years, and thank God every time Joe's there doing them, paperwork is not my, forte,
Yeah.
but now, Brian, how do you get out of being an official member of the
I've already
board?
been. I'm
He's,
kidding. I've been here. I've been clerk. I've been chairman. I've been everything. I'm not even a member right now. I shouldn't even be here.
You
But
should be a member, so you have
I
a
know.
reason.
I don't think I can be. I mean,
Really?
I can be starting maybe this next cycle.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. Before we leaned on Liza, we leaned on Brian.
Oh, okay. He's a good person to lean on, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Steve.
I've
He's
been
a
there,
good
done
person
that.
to lean on.
Yeah, Steve has also done it.
He's done it.
So as Happy.
Yeah. And
I mean, well, what about this? What about you and Joe being a team?
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Joe is shaking his
not me.
head.
I'm saying
I
no.
think what the problem is, we need Liza's organizational
We
skills,
need-
so. I mean, I would do it with her, but I guess. But I don't know if she'd be willing to do that. That's why maybe
She said she is willing to do
Yeah.
it.
He's willing to help out for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says that she would, yeah, that she definitely would. She said she could even be co-chair if needed. I mean, I think so. Emily was chair for a while and she did that to like help Happy on in the first place, and then Happy did it on her own after that. So it could be like a transition.
Or
Yeah.
permanent.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
Does someone want to, I think for voting, we have to each say a vote, like for Zoom,
Yes.
you have to, everyone has to respond. Thanks, Mary.
Yeah.
So,
I nominate Dan
okay.
to be president.
Uh-oh.
Happy seconds it.
All right.
Speaker of the House.
Okay.
Okay.
I vote for that.
And then we're gonna each vote. My vote is yes. Yes.
Yes, from me.
Aye.
I can't vote, but I would vote for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay, so as long as I can work something out with Liza.
Okay, I think that we could vote on Liza being co-chair.
Yeah, let's do that. I nominate Liza as co-chair.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, I'll second that.
I agree, yes.
All right. Very good.
Oh,
Hi,
Grace, we
Grace.
can't hear you.
Grace
Hi,
again.
Grace and Roseanne.
Hi.
Oh, would you like to vote on Dan as chair?
Yes, I'll vote yes.
Okay, great. Would you like to vote on Liza as co-chair as a support?
Yes, we'll vote yes too.
Okay. Steve, have you voted?
Aye.
Okay, I think that's everybody. Okay, great. So, wait, Happy, did you vote?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so that's set. Now we have the clerk to vote on. Grace, you had potentially been interested?
Oh,
Sure, I'll do it. What do I do?
So you take notes at the meeting. I think Joe and Dan both sometimes watch the recording, so if you missed some of it, you could do that. I used
Okay.
to just take minutes during the meeting, so that I didn't have to. Well,
Go
you
back and
didn't
do it?
used to not be able to watch them anyway.
Yeah.
So at the
Okay.
meeting, like when it, and then you send it to the chair and they send it out with the Zoom link so that everyone can read it and vote on it at the next meeting.
Okay, I can do that, sure.
Yeah, you can see you just use the old ones as the template.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so should we vote on Grace as clerk? Or does
Yes.
someone want to nominate her?
I'll nominate her.
Yes.
Thanks, Dan.
I second that.
Great.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe's very enthusiastic.
And Joe, Grace, Joe will be I'm sure he'll work with you to get it going.
Okay,
Yes, I will help all I can. Thank you.
thank you, Joe.
I'm delighted that you will be doing this. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, well, thanks for your fantastic job over the last year or so.
I know.
You know
Okay,
what?
so let's vote on Grace. Steve?
Yes.
Oh, we take the vote first.
Oh, okay. Would you like to vote first and then?
Aye.
Okay. Happy?
Yes.
Dan's yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes from me. Okay,
That's pretty
Great.
unanimous.
you're clerk.
Yay, thank you.
I'll find out what we have to do for reporting that.
Okay,
Steve, did you have something on the?
Yeah, I was just gonna make a suggestion, and some other groups I've been in, the clerk starts out with a spreadsheet or a list kind of based on the agenda with
Mhm.
the different items to make notes on, and that becomes the minutes.
oh, okay,
Makes
Yeah.
it easier, I think.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often use the agenda and then I just filled in below it.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's assuming the president follows the agenda.
Yes. I almost dropped my computer. I actually even printed it out this time because I have Liza's notes to look at and the bag thing, so I'm
I used-
following it, Steve.
I used to take the minutes from the month before, and then I would delete parts and then I would fill
were not
in. But
relevant?
once I found that I hadn't deleted, I was looking at it thinking this is very familiar, and then I realized it was like half of it was the month before.
So maybe don't take advice
do
from
that.
Dan on the minutes.
Try not to do that. Not a big fan of doing the work twice.
Yeah. Okay, our next item on the agenda is the date for the 2024 Ag Day. So looking at the calendar, we usually do the Saturday after Labor Day, which would be September 7th this time. So it's kind of on the early side from what it usually is. Do people have thoughts? I mean, this would be like deciding on the date to start what we would like continue. We'd need to check all the calendars and everything.
What date? I forget. What was it this year?
The 9th.
The 11th.
Oh, the 11th? It was the 11th last year, I thought.
No,
Let
it was
me
the
look what
9th.
it was.
I'm most likely wrong.
Yeah.
So the options are the 7th or the 14th, really.
Right. The options are the 7th or the 14th.
I think that seems to have worked out well, having it that weekend, and people are getting used to it, kind of.
But which one? I mean, that's kind of.
Weekend after Labor Day, Saturday after
Oh,
Labor Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this year it was the 9th, but it has been the like 10th, 11th, 12th different years. This would probably be the earliest it's been in a while.
I used to always argue it for it to be earlier, because the tomatoes are generally better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, we used to be the later argument, but we don't care anymore. So that's fine.
But it's never rained either.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, knock on wood.
September 7th is our proposed date.
Okay,
I'll second.
that's our proposed date, and then we will start checking calendars and things to see what else is happening that day.
Shall I ask Leonard? Ask Leonard now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, but don't have him write it in pen just in case we find
Okay.
something on the town calendar, whatever.
Okay.
Usually ask around. Okay, the other Ag Day thing was last time we had talked with Mary about she had suggested adding language about more specifics about the agricultural related topics of the nonprofits and people with the tables. Because so Liza sent me some notes on this, so I'll just preface it and then people can talk and let me know their thoughts. So currently, what it says on our Ag Day website, as well as in the material that we send the nonprofits, it says that we prioritize nonprofits that focus on agriculture, food, and environmental topics, but allows other Concord-based nonprofits if space allowed. If space allows. So we don't say anything about what they do there. And so the idea would be maybe we should talk about adding something about how their promotional materials or their table in general needs to be focusing on how their group relates to agriculture, food, or the environment. This came from some folks having anti-jet Hanscom information, and then another person who wanted to come next year with pro-jet information. So, but it was like the actual group was someone that's come for many years and isn't a, like, not, I guess the idea would be not to kick them out, but to keep it more focused on agriculture and the environment.
That they are.
Can we just say that we don't want political issues? It's for agriculture and not political issues? I don't know if we,
Agriculture is political.
is that too blunt?
Yeah.
No,
Nothing about jets on either side.
Yeah.
it
Okay.
just has to have some sort of connective tissue to agriculture.
Yeah,
Right.
I think everything's political, so I'm saying not political. I don't even know how to define that.
Yeah. I don't either.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we need to add a sentence after what we have, which is more about like who can come and say,
What their message is while they're there.
right.
It should have to do, this is Ag Day, and so, if you're a nonprofit and you're gonna come to Ag Day, the things that you're promoting or the causes that you're promoting or whatever have to do with agriculture kind of writ large.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of vague too, but
if I can just add, I think I'd even recommend that you say that has to do with agriculture directly, because what I heard the argument was is that private jets pollute the air, and polluting the air pollutes the soil, and polluting the soil, you know what I mean? Connecting all the dots. So making it more directly related to agriculture, I think, might prevent some of those stretches.
Yeah.
there's still going to be discretion and
Yes.
Well, one thought I just had was, should we just ask in the form, like say, and where it's the focus should be on, I mean, I don't have the sentence written now, but I could write one for the next meeting that we could edit, but that we would like the table should be you know, promoting agriculture or pertaining to agriculture, and then we could have a line where they just like describe what they're gonna do, or like what their like proposal is
declaration of
for
their
the
intent.
table.
Yeah,
What?
a declaration of their intent, as it were.
Yeah, or just like their idea for the table. Like the easy
Yeah.
one is, it came up like, can people sell other things? And then we added language that they could sell things that were directly agriculture related. I should find that sentence because that's like very relevant. And then there was a blank line for like, what would you, I think it was like, contact us and tell us what you'd be selling. And so it's
Mhm.
like, oh, the library's going to sell agriculture and gardening books. Perfect.
Right.
Like if they said what it was.
I mean,
that they were
basically,
thinking
we're gonna
for.
make them stretch a little bit
Right,
in terms of their message to try to make it pertain
right.
to agriculture and local, which is fine.
Right.
I mean, we don't.
Did it go in a better direction this year than the year before, where, you know, there was some concern that we were just getting way too many
Yeah.
nonprofit? Did it sort of scale back a little in this year?
No.
Oh.
I thought it was less people. We didn't have to turn away as many people.
I thought there were a lot of, I thought it was difficult to, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I think that what ended up happening was all the added language, I don't, maybe all the added description. We did not have people, like a lot of people that we had to say no to, if any. I think Liza was the one doing it, but it wasn't, I think that we had room for everyone and it didn't end up being as many. There was maybe one person at the very end, which I was relieved because they didn't seem super relevant anyway. But we didn't have like the people tracking me down at the farm stand saying that they had always come to Ag Day and why didn't they have a spot, kind of thing.
I think from our perspective as farmers, we don't really care that much. I mean,
Right.
the appeal of Ag Day, it doesn't have anything to do with the nonprofits that we
Right.
allow to set up tables.
Right.
And so we have kind of the power in the.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if we write all of this, we might get less nonprofits, but if we don't mind that, which I don't think we do.
Right. They kind of dilute the whole thing if they're a lot too many, I guess.
Not like they're
Right.
funding it.
No. No.
Because they
not-
even get a discounted rate
Yeah,
from
exactly.
farms, I believe. Aren't they like $10 as opposed to 30 or something?
I don't think the nonprofits have paid at all.
Nothing.
I don't know.
No, the only people that were paying anything were the ones who were gonna sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And so
Um,
they just say, we have 20 spots available and we will fill those with groups that are agricultural related.
Right. But there are people who have been coming for years and I think would put in some effort if they were given
Yeah.
parameters.
Yes.
And so it seems like nicer to include them if they're willing to put in that work. Like, and we don't have 20, so I think it's actually only 13 nonprofits usually. And we might have even done less to have more space. Why don't, yeah, what do other people think? I'm thinking about doing like a draft for next time with some of the language that we could use both on the website and on the form. And then people would say if they liked it or not, or edit it.
Sounds like a good plan.
In terms of selling product, we want to be careful that we don't have agricultural products coming in from
Yes.
distant places.
No, right. This was more like the two examples of what was sold. I should find that language. It was gardening and agriculture books from the library, and Gaining Grounds was selling their cookbook and tote bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it even does, I think the form even did say if it was actual, like any produce, it had to be grown in Concord.
Yeah.
But I will double check that. So we want to say agriculture specifically, that sounds like, rather than also food and environmental topics.
Yeah, I think it's fraught.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Also food is, you don't have to say food, you can tie that pretty closely.
Just like public policy and
Oh
all
yeah,
kinds of stuff. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, and we can always just make more room for the veggie. All the kids stuff, people love that. Okay.
Yeah, the races drew a bigger crowd this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of comments on them favorably.
Yeah. I heard corn was used as a
Oh,
was a
really?
popular racer.
Almost everything.
Yeah.
that's because all the delicata rotted.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible.
I actually think we should have sold all the rotting delicatas to
Yeah.
the kids.
Right.
It's gonna drill holes in it, right?
Yeah.
Could be. I heard some real pretty substantial crashes. I assumed it was delicata or something coming down.
Oh yeah. Nice. Okay, well, I'll put that on the agenda next meeting and have a draft, but we can work on that. The next thing is the bag fee exemption for town meeting. Chris Carmody had written a draft that we need to vote on. It's good that Liza is written as our representative, and that and I think she could have represented us even if she wasn't chair, but now she will. It looks like, did folks see it? It's the last line is what was edited to exempt farm stands from.
Oh, last one.
Yeah, the bag thing, if you scroll
Yeah.
to the bottom, section 6 is where an exclusion was added for farm stands and farmers market vendors. Shall be
Oh, in red. Okay. I was missing that.
definition of retail establishment.
Oh, all right. Well, that does it in one stroke.
Who decides this?
I think this is a warrant for town meeting. Is that right, Mary?
It's an article at
Article.
our next town meeting, yeah. And all this verbiage is a repeat of what the town approved, I don't know,
Right.
2 years ago, maybe. And
Yeah.
the only difference is that last line that excludes farm stands.
Mhm.
So we're simply saying, hey, you know, the thing that you approved 2 years ago, we want to add an amendment to
Mhm.
exclude farm stands. But I need to let you know that this is something, it's a home rule petition, which means it has to go through the legislature, and it's
Right.
still in committee. So I don't want to get the whole charge for the bags is still in committee. So that's got a long
Right.
way to go. But if and when that happens, this version will make sure that farm stands are excluded.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Do we need to vote on it, did you say?
Very good.
Yeah, we need to vote on that language.
Good. Right.
So I propose that we accept this language, or that we bring this to town meeting.
I second that.
Okay.
I vote for it.
Yes.
I vote in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
I'll go along.
Aye.
And I vote yes too.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Sounds unanimous.
Yes.
Very good.
Great. Check that off. Okay. Steve being very forward thinking added spring forum ideas to this agenda. Does anyone have any?
I don't know, I think we should come up with something sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't know whether we could have anything that bounces off of last year's or not. Or what might be a good
What
idea.
was? Oh, we did the no-till. Yeah.
Till versus no till.
Mm-hmm.
GMO versus non-GMO.
That's a limited.
That would gather some excitement, maybe.
Yeah.
um,
I mean, people are concerned about climate change,
Yes.
oh yeah, that'd be an interesting thing.
as are we all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, I don't know, talking about ways in which agriculture can be resilient
Mm-hmm.
or not resilient,
Yeah.
or ways in which people are already attempting to
deal with change.
mitigate their risk.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I like that.
Might be tricky. There's lots of strong feelings.
Yeah.
And there's not, I mean, other than trying to adapt, it's not like we can roll back the clock.
No, but we, it's like, I was just thinking, like, we had a field this year. I was asking like the people I work with, where did we have the winter squash? Like, I can't even remember where we had it last year. And I was like, oh, a couple years ago we had it in this field that right now is still like a giant puddle.
Hmm.
It's like and we had a good crop, but right now there's standing water in this field.
Mm.
Like now, after after it's dried out as much as it has, and so it's tricky to think. It's like risk management,
Mhm.
It's like how much are you comfortable with, and what what are your expectations? I don't know stuff, and what crops
Yeah.
you put there. Like it makes you really think about which crops are most important to you
Right.
in terms of income, and which ones kind of just fit in the margins. And if we lose those, I guess we lose those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really liked this time how we had another speaker. We could try to come up with like with that sort of like idea for a topic, see if we can think about speakers, and then that would
Yeah, she was great. That was good.
I thought she was great.
yeah. And it's
Could compost be a suitable subject?
Could be.
yeah.
Okay.
If people in their backyards have some interest in compost.
Mm-hmm.
And all the different scales of composting, from
Mm-hmm.
backyard to just throwing stuff on your field, to people that are making compost, to people that are making soil mix out of compost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another phase of that, we've had to switch to some compostable containers for takeout food from the stand.
Oh,
And we have one container that is compostable, and the cover says compostable in a commercial compost facility.
Have you?
And it seems they're both compostable, but one breaks down a lot faster than the other one does.
Mm-hmm.
I did some research last winter, and I planted the container and the cover separately in my hibiscus pot. And the container pretty much disappeared in a month or two. And the cover took 2 or 3 times as long, but it did break down.
Huh.
Oh,
They were
So,
both corn-based, I believe.
so interestingly, organic, like if you grow organic, you can't put those things in your compost pile.
Yeah.
They won't let you, and they don't let you use biodegradable plastic either.
Right.
So, I mean, for years, I have a plastic, you know, we do a lot of plastic mulch. And so we have a machine that lifts the plastic up, makes it easier for the crew to pick up the plastic and throw it away. And we have an old one that has these shear bolts in it, and we have lots of rocks. So the newer models have these spring-loaded things that you set a certain tension and they spring, and then you reset them and whatever. You don't have to change shear bolts. And I have been intending on, you know, switching over to that, but I'm like, oh no, we're going to be using biodegradable plastic. So why do I want to buy this machine that I'm not going to, it's going to be obsolete? And that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't really get that at all, because I mean that's one of the ironies of organic farming. If you're doing any kind of, you know, plastic mulch or raised beds,
There's a tension.
and like you know, drip, it's like tremendous amount of plastic is.
Yeah.
Well, none of the biodegradable mulch is really biodegradable, is it? Or the plastic mulch?
No, I mean, the argument for it not being certified is that it's a very high percentage is actual plastic,
Right.
Right.
or it's like petroleum.
It's
Yeah,
just a glue that holds the little pieces together that breaks down, I think.
right, right.
Like we bought some of that Casella organic compost,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a lot of plastic in it. It was very disappointing because I think they basically, you know, it's mainly leaf litter, and
Mhm.
they chop it up, and I think, you know, whatever cups or whatever plastics things that were in the leaf litter just get chopped up into teeny pieces. And I'm even surprised that Bay State certifies that, but
We bought a giant truck full of that and I didn't find that at all.
really,
Yep, not at all. It was really, really clean.
oh.
that's good. Maybe we just got some weird.
Yeah, that seems weird. We bought the organic one from them and there wasn't anything in it.
Oh, we got
Talking about
nothing.
teeny pieces of plastic, like maybe the size of I don't know, much smaller than a penny. Like, so I mean, it seemed to me it looked like it was, you know, uniformly chopped with something, and
Yeah.
Oh.
but I don't know. I will have to revisit that, I guess. But
Hmm.
anyway, yeah, maybe mulch or
Yeah.
climate change, climate. I mean,
Okay,
we're
that's-
struggling with this nut sedge, and I think this weather of this year having so much rain was really you know, encouraged it.
Mhm.
And I see now that I'm kind of, you know, hyper aware of it. I just see it everywhere. You know,
Mhm.
I walk, you know, along and I'll see in people's yards. There's this whole little chunk of nutsedge. So I don't know if this is an indicator of climate change or,
Well, it loves wet soil.
yeah,
Yeah.
Excuse me, what's that word? Not something?
sedge.
Sedge.
Um,
It's a sedge. So sedge is a
Oh, okay.
yeah, like you know, and it's not a sedges have edges.
Okay.
I had a guy who worked for me who called it nuts edge.
Yeah.
I was like,
You don't. I hope you don't have it. Do you?
nuts edge.
Do you have it on your farm?
We have yeah, we have a little bit, but it's basically not, it hasn't been much of a problem, but I could see it more this year. Like
So bad with the whole one of our whole fields that we did the squash, which is a bad place to put squash. We did raised beds, and it was a horrible job getting the plastic up because it just went through from all sides. So it was like basically we had to like just pull little pieces of plastic to get it out of there.
Have
And
you
of course,
tried,
all the squash rotted anyway. So
have you tried roasting the nuts?
Yeah, they're good, actually.
really,
Yeah.
maybe that'll be our product. We'll bring to the Ag Day next year. Roasted
Nuts edge.
nuts edge.
That there's a vegetable called chufa that's basically the same thing.
Really,
The
Wow.
little nutlets, and you can make all. Yeah, they're good for you, and so that may be your future crop.
it's sad because that used to be all purslane.
Which is much better.
Maybe
know.
we're getting up in the world. Well, yeah, we should continue to. You're muted, Melissa.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking if there was a thing about weeds, we would all go to a talk.
Oh,
about
We would
weeds.
win that battle. We would win that.
Okay, well, we'll keep going on that. Does
Yeah,
anyone
weeds,
have any?
composting, climate change.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, their ideas. Okay, well, we'll come back to let's think about speakers for any of those topics. That matters a lot if we can find someone to talk on those issues. On one of those.
I definitely like the academics. I mean,
Yeah, I thought that was good.
rather than, I mean, there's other places you can draw speakers from, but I like, yeah,
Yeah.
one of the land grant universities.
Right.
Extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great find. I don't know, Steve, you found her, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Do folks have any other business to bring up? No? Public comment?
I have a question.
Yeah,
I was taken by when you were going around trying to identify a new chair and a clerk that everyone's been rotating through these things. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering, what about recruiting new members? You know,
yeah.
what is there anything that I can do to help there? Because it's really the select board that appoints people. Do you know of any people in town that might be convinced to join, or
We need a few more farmers coming to town.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get Ricky Marshall involved. I think he'd be great, but he seems to be pretty well tied to his place and doesn't like to leave.
What about Ben Elliott at Saltbox?
Well, he was tied so tight this year, he didn't want to come to the Ag Day.
Well, no, the ag day was because they didn't have a farmer this year.
Well, right, but I mean, he,
Right. But yeah, he didn't come. We have tried to contact him as well. I mean, but we haven't gotten much response.
And gaining ground.
They
expressed interest at one point.
Yeah, I mean,
They're getting a new farmer, I think, next year.
oh, they are.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anna is going to go out on her own.
Okay.
It's a good point, though. Yeah.
I wonder if someone else at Gaining Ground, like because the farmers,
Well, it could always be the new director, that they have a new director too.
yeah. Just because that, like, the farmers often don't live anywhere nearby. And it's hard to well, because I've tried to get them to come too, like years ago when I knew them more, and it's just like they often don't live nearby or aren't as like invested in Concord specifically. They're just coming to work.
Well, we have two people who live basically in what we call the compound,
Uh-huh.
who are farmers, and
Mhm.
I often tried to get the people that I work with to come to the meetings, and they often go to one or two, but I'll bring it up again. I mean, there's
Mhm.
two folks that are very involved in the farm that, live in Concord and could be part of the committee.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we might be in a position to really encourage our employees to become at least supporting members of the committee. Because they know what's going on, they do it every day, they have input that I think could be valuable.
I mean, I know Steve has tried for a long time with Ricky, but that's just like the
Never even comes
most
to meetings.
obvious,
Yeah.
like having a farm in Concord on town land and.
Would you consider merging with another committee? I'm thinking now about the pollinator advisory committee. And this is just an idea, to kind of beef up your membership. I mean, it's just
how
something.
big are other committees, or is this sort of small for a committee, or?
It is kind of small for a committee. It is, and the town has way too many committees. So maybe it would be an idea to merge with them. I'm just throwing it out. Just new people. It would maybe change I mean, you two are related. You have a lot of things in common, but you also have your own agendas. So
Focus.
Might kind of dilute things a bit.
it could. Yeah.
Yeah, the one time I would worry is that, part of why the ad committee was created was when there was like tension between the farms and any aspects of the town, like neighbors or anything.
Yep.
And it's like a pretty unique position, and it might be hard to agree on things sort of in defense of the farms if we were in that position again, in terms of like writing a letter of support or something like that. We fortunately haven't had many of those lately, but there definitely were.
It happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
and,
you have a very clear kind of agenda
mhm.
promoting agriculture, and I feel like joining with the pollinator committee would muddy it.
It would. It
Yeah.
might. It might.
But we could work on trying to get more members. I mean, we have really been lacking, especially like so the farmer issue and especially trying to recruit Steve or Ben, people who have been established having farms in town, because there aren't going to be a lot of new farms in town.
Right.
There isn't the
Finite,
available
yes.
land. So ever since First Root closed and they left, and then if like two of the main farms in town aren't involved, we really benefited from like Emily, who was like a very involved in farming, but was not a farmer herself right now. So we had been trying to think about, we even had a barbecue once, and people tried to invite people that they thought we could try to recruit. I don't know if anyone came. You remember, this was like years ago. Here we had like a cookout and we tried to all bring people.
Could
I
we just send some sort of, not to cut you off, could we try to send something out to people that have community gardens?
Yes.
Would they be interested?
yeah.
Oh, Joe's very involved in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is.
And
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, Joe is the person to ask.
I think that's a good idea. Yes.
I do too.
I mean, typically we have a few more people that are here tonight. Sorry.
Yeah. But it is true that we've been in need of more members. I just thought of something
Yeah.
too that we could do. I don't know if I could put something on Instagram and see if anyone could contact us that way. Cause I wonder if people also just don't know how to contact us. Like I've had a couple of people interested before who I gave my email and then really wish that I had been the one to get their email so that I could really like follow up on it. Because I think a lot of people might be interested. It's just hard to kind of like pin people down and get them to actually come. I finally got Mark coming from Saltbox for a while, and then he is now in Framingham.
Well, we
I
could
should-
work
I
on
should-
Ben Elliott a little more, and maybe Jaleos too.
I should know this, but in your charge, does it say your members have to be farmers?
No, we actually are supposed to have 2 members all the time who are just friends of farming.
That would be a good place to, community gardens might be a good place to
Yeah.
recruit for that.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if Emily came last week. Was coming fairly regularly. I don't know if she's still interested or.
I think she's
She's been
done.
the
She was a member and chair and clerk many
Yeah,
times. I think she was stepping away and still just coming for more like friendly,
Mm.
just to keep in touch kind of thing.
right.
But so Joe, how would we contact the folks at the community gardens?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I will find out.
Okay, great.
The group that I belong to does guard its membership that protects it from solicitation and stuff like this general like you can't don't be marketing to our group. No,
Leave
and
flyers at the garden.
Yeah.
there you are.
Well-
Yeah, there.
See,
Yeah.
it's the NRC. All the community gardens are under the Natural Resource Commission. So
Okay.
I think if you went to Delia and went to the coordinators,
Mhm.
every garden, that might be a way. That might be a
Yeah.
way in, Joe.
Yeah.
Very good.
Delia
A good thought.
has sent out info for us. Joe, I could email her. Delia has sent out email for about our spring forum, like
Okay.
this latest one. She
Yes, she
sent
did.
it
That's right.
to the community garden group. So, I don't know.
Joe, you visit with Ricky some, don't you, down there?
Yes, I see him sometimes. Yeah.
Why did you work on him?
It's Zoom. He could
I
just
will admire his chickens.
on Zoom, he could keep working
Right.
Yes,
and just have us on his phone and his earphones.
yeah. It's bizarre that he resists that so much because he's otherwise so wired. He's got
He loves coming to the farmer's market.
Yeah, he loves Ag Day.
He
All right.
gave us a nice tour and he seemed to enjoy that.
What about isn't his wife involved in the farm as well?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
we should work on her.
Work on her to come or to
Yeah.
work on him.
Oh, no. I meant to come, like she could be on the ag committee.
Right. Either or.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Her name's Ashley.
Ashley.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I second guessed myself, so I didn't say
Yeah.
it, but that's what I thought. Oh, do you know her, Grace? Maybe you could.
I do know her. Not well, I'm just a
Yeah.
wave, hi, how you doing? But
Yeah.
not like really that well.
Hey, how are you doing? You want to be on the Zit?
I know. Right. How are you? Here's the green card.
I hear you're a farmer.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, winter might be a good time for this time of year might be good for recruiting. It's a little
Yeah.
getting a little quieter, but not depths of winter where it's hard to get anybody.
Or maybe 2 ideas. One would be merging with somebody like the NRC instead of just another little committee, or can we change our charter to more friends of farmers, like match up a farmer with a friend of farming, so we have double the money, so to speak. I think we have
What
four
does the charter say? It's like 3 farmers and 2 friends of farmers.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's important to have farmers. I mean, as long as
Yeah.
there are farmers
Right.
in Concord.
But the non-farmers will vote for anything their farmer says.
What? What was that?
What was that? What'd you say, Happy?
What's the
I think
question?
that the friends would vote for whatever the farmer brings up.
Oh, yeah, so you could have your own constituents.
Or you can have a real friend.
Real friend.
Like packing the court.
Yeah,
Every time I make a proposal, you second it.
Yeah.
right, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, we really are, like Brian said, we are, like, as long as there are farmers, we are still losing them, because I just remembered it was Happy's son Carl and Elena that used to also be on the
Right.
committee.
And Chip Brigham was on back
Yeah,
on.
Brigham.
He's kind of retiring.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not.
Well, we all have, there's also
Yeah.
folks, Colonial Gardens and people that have greenhouses and so forth.
Yeah.
Which could be, definitely be part of the ag committee.
What about the man who does Silver Farm, the raspberry patch? Is that
Oh,
big enough of a farm? Uh-oh, why, did I just step?
No, I mean, he's been involved way back, but he's never been like I don't think he only attended meetings when he had kind of a issue that was
Okay.
being
Okay.
kind of adjudicated
Okay.
with the help. So I don't think he's that interested in the
I see.
ag scene.
Yep, I hear you. That's okay.
And he also has a wife who's lovely, and but I don't know that either one of them are really interested in being part of the ag committee.
Yeah. All right.
I think these are good thoughts, because it is true. I think it's 3 farmers and 2 friends of farming, but then there's the 2 associate memberships that are sort of open-ended there.
And the associates don't vote? Is that
They
true?
do. I'm not sure why it's associates. They do all the
They can
same.
vote if there's an issue, like if there's.
Oh, yeah, or if it's needed.
Yeah.
For quorum, but I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
They can speak when spoken to.
Yeah.
It was just, I think it would be good to get new people on your committee. That's all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's not much, and Lise has been on it. She's been chair,
Yep,
and
I could tell.
yeah,
It seems like, yeah, a lot of the people that are here tonight have done a lot of the heavy lifting over the years, so getting new energy would be good.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like I look at all the people here, and you're all new to me, except for Steve.
right.
Like years ago, it was Emily and Chip and Steve and
Andrew and Susan.
yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, when I first got here.
Yeah.
And Grace, and you've been here a long time, but as far as being a member,
Yeah.
I think you've been a member for what, 2 years?
as
Yeah.
it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Well, it went way back to Jim Wayman and Danny Jaleo.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Bill Kenny was still coming
Right.
when I
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
You all know Billy's moving?
I heard that rumor.
Yeah. Do you know where he's going?
I just heard Western Mass, but I don't know whether he had a place in mind or not.
Oh,
Doesn't the town own his farm
Yes.
land?
And what's the fellow from Cucurbit's name? I can't remember.
Eric Nelson?
Eric Nelson. He lives in Concord.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I've only seen him at 1 or 2 meetings.
Then there's his nephew, Max, who's doing a lot of his farm, so
yeah.
But I think most of the farm is in
Littleton, but
Yeah, he probably could. He's retired from the fire department now.
Hmm.
And his
Oh, he's
base of
retired?
operation is in Acton, but he does live in Concord and he does
Grows-
some farming in Concord.
grows a lot of corn in
Yeah.
Concord,
right.
or at least he used to. I don't know. He still does, but
I think he still does, yeah.
And then the cup who does the sunflowers, people have asked him about being on the committee before.
Yeah, yeah,
Russell?
yeah. Or, yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, it's Russell.
See, Mary, we've been rejected a lot.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
You need some kind of controversial issue to come up, and then I think people would band together.
yeah. I
So
mean,
we should
farmers
make-
just like to work.
concoct one.
Maybe we could make something happen. Just
Yeah.
joking. Just joking.
Like,
Let's make
no
a
more
strong-
farming in Concord.
We could have like a bill to ban farming.
Yeah, yeah. They'd all show up.
That would get some members, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a difficult thing. It's like parts of the year. It's like most people are like working late, so
I
yeah,
wonder what'll happen with Kenny's land because the town does own it, but they own it as farmland, I believe.
yeah.
I'm all over that. That's not that far from me.
Okay,
That's true.
Well, McHugh's on Old Bedford Road was literally a mud pit. It was, because I know Russell tried to do sunflowers in there a little bit and it was just a disaster.
almost every place was.
Yep.
Yeah. But isn't his main field pretty sandy?
Kenny's?
Yeah,
Yeah, but a year like this, it didn't do very well.
gotcha.
It's light loam. I wouldn't call it sandy, I guess.
Oh, okay. Not like ours.
And it's fairly
2
flat.
years
so it
ago,
doesn't
it was
drain
just
very
like this.
quickly.
Yeah,
Remember, 2 years ago, it was just, I mean,
Yeah.
this year was worse, but it was,
right.
in some ways it was worse that year, but Kenny ended up planting beans across from your place on Barrett's Mill.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
Oh,
that?
over, no,
Yeah, one of those things that's right off the road. He came and he plowed it up and he limed it and
yes,
because
That conservation.
all his beans, yeah.
yeah,
And then he went out of business after he was like, screw this.
yeah.
Eat all his beans on Old Bedford Road. They literally they would germinate and they'd be up 2 leaves and the Canadian geese would just come and just mow it all down and just pick it up.
Oh. Oh,
Oh, man. All right, so
Is there a hunting committee in town?
yeah, there you go. That would be make a
could
nice.
join
That would be
forces.
good.
farmers and
That would be a
hunters.
good
Someone-
merger, right?
that we could
No.
merge with.
Yeah, merge with the hunters, right? Yeah.
There'd be a lot of extracurricular activity.
Yeah,
No, not yet, but there might be a hunter. You never
maybe.
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
know. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, never know. Okay, so I'll email Delia about maybe sending out an email to the community gardens, just saying that the ag committee like invites you to our next meeting. We're looking for people interested in becoming members, something like that.
Sounds good.
Okay, great.
Great.
Yeah, that's good plan. The next meeting would be in November. The 9th was listed on the agenda as their proposal. I'm in the wrong year here. What do people think about the November meeting? The 9th is, let me see.
That's the
It's
second
second
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, yep.
Comes right after the
Okay.
8th.
So we
Good.
should
Stay
start,
happy.
It comes right after the 8th.
Yeah,
Yes. I was just looking at the holidays in November. It says Veterans Day on that Friday, but
so we should get serious about the spring forum at that point.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so things for the agenda would be lots on the spring forum, some going over Ag Day information, and maybe follow up on the Ag Day date after more calendars have been checked. Maybe follow up on recruiting new members. Does the 9th work for folks?
That,
Yes.
that night is the night when the town is having a forum on the 2229 Main Street site, you know, the big
Oh,
46 acres off of
you
Main
wanna
Street.
do it the first Thursday of the month, or? I don't know
Yeah,
what that would be.
yeah, so we could, the 2nd is an option or the 16th.
Either works for me, and whatever's good for.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm kind of partial to the 16th. Just the later, the more of this year is done.
So let's say the 16th.
Okay. That now we also all know the date that we are trying to see if you meet anyone you think might want to join the committee.
Right.
Good.
Okay. I propose we end the meeting.
I second.
Okay.
Great. Thanks,
Night,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Night.